with this. Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Her Talk Show. My name is Sabrina Victoria, and we are here with Bobbie. We are so excited. We're going to be talking about the essential tips for women homeowners. So get comfortable as we explore some of the triumphs and challenges faced by women worldwide. We're going to give you some insight. We're going to give you some inspiration. So let's jump right in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
If you're listening live, I see you jumping on. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at in the comments below so we can shoot you some love after the show. We are here every day, and we constantly delve into all sorts of topics under health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We have interviewed over 600 women on this stage. We are adding another one to the list today. We have Miss Bobbie Is it Wasserman or Wasserman? I already forgot. Wasserman, founder and CEO of SingleLadyEstates. Yes. Champions and women's empowerment and home ownership. I'm so excited for this conversation. She already gave me a little snippet, so I'm like so excited to dive in. Beyond real estate, her focus is on education, advocacy, and community, using a SingleLadyEstates as a resource hub, offering expert advice and supportive network. Bobbie's vision fosters a movement for economic empowerment and confidence among women, ensuring they're knowledgeable and self-assured in all aspects of home ownership. Before we dive into this, I would like to know, what came first? Real estate for you, or empowering women with home ownership?
Empowering women.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I started this company based on 7 years of litigation I had with my home, with a home purchase in Los Angeles. It was 7 years of litigation, 4 lawsuits. I'd never been involved in any litigation prior. It was quite eye-opening. So you go through that journey, you learn a ton. You learn a ton about yourself, about the law, and it helps you to find your voice. And that's exactly what I did. And so my goal with this is never to help people avoid what I went through.
Wow. Oh my gosh. 7 years.
Yeah, it was.
So you got out of that and you were like, I need to help more women understand this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And find their own voice and trust their gut and all those things that, you hear about throughout your life. And then you have an experience that changes you. And you're just like, oh, this is okay. This is what it means, right? And so if I can help anyone avoid what I went through, then I feel successful.
Wow. As in conjunction to that, you gave me a crazy educational piece before we jumped on here, as far as women's home ownership in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to let's open with that, because I literally like, what?
Yeah.
So you said 1974. So tell us about this.
So 1974, there was an act called the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and that was passed. It was part of it was kind of at the tail end of all the civil rights legislation of the 60s, right? So in 1974, most women, right? There was no law in place, but most women had to have a male signature on any type of credit cards. And even with my mother's credit cards were in my father's name. So if you talk to women that are in their 80s, late 70s, 80s, they'll tell you incredible stories. We even had an event with women from 32 to 90. And the poor 32-year-olds, their jaws were dropping about what happened, to these women who were in their late 80s. saying, well, they can't do that. They can't do that. It's like, yeah, they could. There's been a lot of good changes. And in 1974, when women were able here, let me back up. They would ask women crazy questions, right? Are you married? Are you planning on having a baby, right? How are you going to pay back the loan? Things that you could never ask at this point in time, right? And so they can't ask those. It's a numbers game, which leveled the playing field for credit for a lot of people, right? Not just women, but I focus on women. So, and
Wow.
as a result, women are able to build their credit. And in 1981, they started keeping statistics on women buying homes on their own. And since the early 1980s, more and more women have done this on their own, whether they're married or not. It's an important financial step, right? And it's whether you use that home and get excuse me, and get married, and you need it later in life, or maybe you sell it to put your kids through college, or you sell it for retirement, or maybe you're married and you want to go on a trip, or whatever it is, right? It's yours, and you decide where that money goes, right? Whether you're married or not. Um, so ever since the early 80s, the statistics have been great. Women have been jumping into the real estate market more and more. About 20% of women, single women, own their own home. And if you add in married women who are head of households, which means that they are the primary breadwinner, it comes to over 50%. So it's now a very slim, slight majority of people in the United States. So we're doing pretty good.
Wow.
We're not there. I mean, there's more to go, but let's just stop and give ourselves some credit.
Yes.
Younger women are going to college, and it's very interesting how the homeownership landscape is changing. It's, in the 50s, 60s, America, you got married, you got a home, you had a baby. It's all very linear, right? And now younger women, they go to college or they have a career, and they're not thinking about marriage, but they don't want to pay rent. So now younger women really don't equate home ownership to family planning. It's like, well, I just don't want to pay rent. It's so simple. Or you don't have to think forward, right? And they're buying homes at the rate of twice of single men, even though what they're earning in aggregate is still less than men.
Wow. That's how good we are with
Yeah.
in the checkbooks.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are, and we're being taught that, right?
Yes.
So older women, their fathers tended, and again, I'm generalizing, tended to think, well, she's going to be taken care of, and they wouldn't talk to their daughters a lot about,
Totally.
about finances. So those women taught their daughters about about finances and having your own. And it used to be, well, put some money aside for yourself, and now it's go buy yourself a home, and go get married, rent it out, make sure it's in your name.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking to a woman on a podcast not too long ago that said her father took care of all her finances. And then when she got married, her father showed her husband how to take care of her finances. And when she got divorced, she had no idea
Yeah.
anything with money.
Yeah. And it's so
Wow.
interesting too, because that's very common. And it's when I had put together an event of women of all different cultures. And what was so striking to me when I talked to potential participants that were, Hispanic, Asian, African American, they would always say, well, in my culture, in our culture,
Mm.
the cultures are all the same. they might use different words, but the general, these were all women that, well, my father in our culture, the father wouldn't wouldn't teach their daughter about finances. It was that way everywhere. So
Wow.
we have so much more in common than we realize.
That
And
is
now older women, what we're finding, you've got younger women who are very confident that were taught by their mothers who are now older. Older women are getting divorced in their 50s. Again, I'm generalizing, but there's that graying divorce, or their husbands tend to die first if they remain married. Their parents are dying, and they're getting inheritance. And it used to be the inheritance would go to the sons, right? 150 years ago. Now it's usually, just split among all the siblings. So you have older women that are getting chunks of money. And it's really a confidence thing that they weren't brought up. The finances are uncomfortable.
got it.
And it's interesting how their daughters are helping them. Well, come on, mom, you've got this, right?
Yes. I know I tend to do that too, where I do a lot of I know how to do that. I will help you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Well, these numbers are staggering to me, as far as the short amount of time in home ownership in general that we've had to experience, and then how quickly we are rising to the opportunity. So that's cool.
Yeah. And, because women tend to still have all or most of the childcare responsibilities, we tend to be more isolated. So you feel like you're doing it all by yourself, and you're not. There are, millions of people that are, in your same situation. So that's another aspect of Single Lady Estates, is really, talking to people that it's like, it's not just you. You're right. You feel like it, I know that sometimes I feel like that. And it's no, talk to other women homeowners. They're going through the same thing. Maybe they've got some great advice for you.
Wow, that's awesome. I know that you talk a lot about tips that you have for women homeowners. I'd love for you to teach us some stuff.
Sure. So we've got commission changes coming up in the real estate industry, where there was, and again, I'm going to keep this at a very high level. Please feel free to Google to Google the specifics, so I don't give wrong information. There was a class action lawsuit that came out of Missouri that is changing the real estate commissions, where in the United States, we tend to pay for the buyer's commission, right? If you're selling your home, you'll pay your realtor 5 to 6%, and usually 2 to 2.5% goes to the buying agent. So that made sense a while ago, right? Before all the homes were listed on the internet. When those were very well guarded secrets, the MLS you could only get to through a realtor. And how were you going to bring people that were in the market to purchase a home to your home? So that made sense. But now it's, you've got technology has advanced, and people go online to find homes before they even go in to see them in person. Some people don't even see them in person, not really
Totally.
recommended. So the lawsuit that is changing the industry, it's called Stitzer Burnett, and sellers no longer have to pay the buyer's commission. So if you go on Redfin or Zillow or another MLS service, you'll see in the details buyer's commission or buyer's agent commission, and it's usually 2 to 2.5%. So the sellers are no longer going to be obligated to pay that. Now, timing is different. All this is different by state. So please, do your research. I'm just, again, giving a very highlighted version of this. So theoretically, that would mean that you would pay less commissions, right? If you're selling your house and you don't have to pay a buyer's agent, then you would pay maybe 3% or 4%. But we all know that you usually get what you pay for. So agents are kind of rejiggering their offerings and what they're going to charge. If you're a buyer, where is that money going to come from? You want to use that money for the down payment and not to pay an agent, or maybe you won't use an agent. So there's a lot of changes going on in the United States. Now, real estate is bought and sold very differently in other countries, and we're not breaking any new ground here. So it's in some countries, agents are just salaried, or so this is really, but it's new for the United States.
Wait, some countries the real estate agent is on salary?
Yeah. I can't remember which one that
Oh.
was, but I know there's at least one where that is. But for the United States, where we're used to having these realtors and their expertise and them showing us all the statistics we need to know and all that, we consumers need to do a better job educating ourselves, right? So really the key to a lot of this is knowing enough to ask the right questions, right? So you want to be able to go in there with the confidence and that's another area really with women, older women specifically, that they just need more of an attaboy. And again, it's because it's the way we were raised, right? Around finances and all that.
Yeah.
And you just have to ask the right questions. If you don't get the answer that you like, then, then you can dig a little deeper. But if your gut says, I need to find another realtor, I need to find another house, I need to find another mortgage broker, go with your gut. Go with your gut. Something's off.
Yeah.
And trust yourself. And that's especially for single women, when you're, when you really do need to trust yourself, right? We have to give permission to ourselves to be, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no.
Yeah, definitely. When you say ask the right questions, can you give us what are like the top 2 questions we should be asking?
So there are, you want to read through all the documents that you're given. You want to do research on the web. So your top questions will be different, right? And then what's been your experience? For example, in my home that I had problems with, there were probably some questions I should have asked that were not provided. Or the questions that I asked where I was like, should have done some more research. So that's really kind of what I tell people. The questions are different. So it really depends. I mean, for women, women are really the number one thing that they look for in homes is safety. Are they personally going to be safe? If they have children, is this a safe neighborhood for my children? That is number one. They also, with the safety factor, it's also the neighborhood, right? Just, even with both my homes, that I drove around at different times of the day.
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
What's the activity level? Who's going in and out? How are the neighbors? Do the neighbors talk to each other? Right? Sometimes you walk around and you can see like they're friendly, they're not friendly. One thing with developments, right? Whether it's with HOA, whether it's a master plan community, like there's a ton of those in Virginia, right? Where you've got condos and single family homes in there. It's in a huge like master plan community. You want to make sure that, it's still safe, right? You think you're safer, and a lot of times you are, but you don't want to have a false sense of safety. The neighbors still have to talk to each other, because you think about like a parking garage, right? If you go into a parking garage and one car usually doesn't get broken into. It's It's usually a bunch because they're in. So you have to think of your community, your home community the same way, right? If you're behind a gate and someone gets in there and they want to rob a house or break into a car, they're usually going to do more than one.
You're right.
So, yeah, even though the gate will deter someone, might not deter everyone. Someone really wants to get in. So you want to make sure the neighbors it's really important to have like watchful neighbors. You know, friendly is relative, right? Depends where you are. It depends, what everyone's doing, but are they looking out for safety issues?
Totally. Yeah. I can definitely see that. I also feel like, are you allowed to do that? Like, if you know what house it is, could you go to the neighbors? Just knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about."
Yeah.
Does anyone ever do that?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to answer.
I'm thinking about buying the house. Because that's
Yeah.
the thing where you could get a really crappy neighbor
Yes.
who's like
Yes.
mean or angry.
Yeah. And I don't want to say too much about that.
I agree. I'll just say it. I will say it.
But yes, you want to have at least a decent neighbor.
Yeah.
And if
Wow.
you get a good neighbor, you have hit the gold mine.
Yeah.
People that will take in your mail, people that will
Yeah.
take your packages, and then return the favors.
Absolutely.
It's not that difficult to be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, I never would have thought of safety, but yeah, that would be high on the list,
Yeah.
especially with
Number
women.
one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're coming in with kids a lot of times.
Yeah. And there's, and even with women have been known to, the location might be perfect and the kids might have to share a bedroom rather than the location that might not be 100% perfect where they get their own room.
Mhm.
Women will take the smaller home to be in the better area.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
What would your opinion be as far as the amount of confidence this helps being able to own a home correlating to women's confidence in general? What have you been seeing?
It's huge. It's huge. There's studies. First of all, women don't believe, I think oh gosh, I don't have the study in front of me, but I think it's about, it's a 92% or 86%. I forget which one. But Bank of America has a study, and first of all, women believe that you don't have to be married to have a home anymore. Right. So that's an outdated idea that you have to be married to get a home. Now, there are areas in the country where 2 incomes are definitely needed to buy a home.
Totally, yeah.
But as far as gender goes, they don't, women feel that marriage isn't an issue and that there is such a sense of pride of women that have homes. And whether it's a condo, whether, here in Los Angeles, they've got new mobile home parks that people are using because homes here are so expensive for their first home. And if you buy a mobile home in Malibu, they're $5 million. A mobile home park.
Mobile home? Did you just say a mobile home?
Yeah. Yeah, $5 million.
Is this a really nice mobile home?
It's in Malibu and you overlook the ocean. So that's your backyard. They're about $5 million. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I live in a mobile home, but it's in Malibu and it overlooks the ocean. But then, they have now, it's like there's such a stereotype of mobile home parks, but now they are growing and they've got some beautiful homes because also some of the ones in the Midwest, they'll allow tiny home owners that were people that go in for a month and then will move on their way.
Yeah.
So these parks or, developments have a lot of amenities to attract that extra income.
Ooh,
Here
okay.
in LA, I had talked to a realtor probably 6, 7 months ago, and she was dealing with a young couple that got married and they really wanted a home, and they chose a mobile home park that was in the hillside of the San Fernando Valley. And I actually had driven by that community several times. They're beautiful. It's,
Wow.
it's in the mountains. It's in the hillside. It's quiet. It's kind of out of the way.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, there's one there's one development. I won't say the name because there are public people that live there. It's at the top of a hill, and they're all manufactured homes. They're definitely not mobile, but they're all manufactured homes. And that is this quirky, creative community that people love. And those homes go up in value. So, it's be creative, right? See, it's really about, again, safety, where you need to be, and your safety, and just be open to something that might not be so traditional.
Definitely. What are your thoughts as far as women living alone and going back to safety and alarm systems? Are you seeing that a lot?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually, in my old home, I had a battery. I had a ring system. It was battery operated, and when I sold that and bought a new home, I put everything on the wire, wired.
Mm,
So I have like some random cameras that are on batteries just in case. But with me, I know changing that battery can sometimes, you put it off and you put it off, and then
yeah.
it, then you're up a creek. So I didn't want that hassle. I just wanted it wired, and have I have a pretty nice system. Um, but again, so number one, check to see if you're a person that is really good changing batteries on time, or not waiting 5 months till after the battery died to replace it. That's me. Um, then do the batteries. I had to get someone to come and install it, so it was a little pricier. It was reasonable for someone's time. It wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, in my old house, I put up all my cameras myself. They're really easy to just get on your smartphone and make sure that you can, communicate via your smartphone. The other thing too is making sure that you have lights on timers. And they've got smart plugs. You can control everything by your phone. It doesn't have to be at a set time. You can do that with these new timers. And all these are, go to Amazon, they're really reasonably priced.
Wow.
It's not expensive.
That's fabulous. Well, I love this. Wow. And what great I feel like just knowing these numbers that you're giving me is even just raising my confidence for the women around. Um, what a good thing to know that we're starting to step into that, that we don't need a partner necessarily to be able to own a home. So that's awesome. Where are you located at? Los Angeles, you said?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I'd love for you to, I mean, obviously we have a really good idea of what you do, but I'd
Mhm.
love for you to explain it to us, exactly who you help, who should be reaching out to you.
So we are building out our platform. So please, what I'd love is for people just to sign up on our list as we build out our platform. We're going to launch that most likely in the fall, right, to correspond with that 50th anniversary. So what we do is we help people through education and advocacy, especially self advocacy and community. What we have currently online, we have a ton of great podcasts, and they're all experts, right? And our latest one was on foundations. We have a gentleman that is like, he holds patents in foundation tools, and he was telling here are the questions, right here. So that's what we do. We bring the experts to the consumer, and they're like, always ask this question. If you see X, then run. That kind of thing. Yeah. So we gather experts, everything from, buying a home, what to look for, right, with different systems, plumbing, air conditioners, uh, foundations. We also delve into financial independence, which homeownership helps, and with women getting comfortable with financial independence. We even talked to a lawyer about financial abuse that women get in situations where there's some abusive situations, and this lawyer was fantastic, and she just, here are the signs you look for. Talk to that person.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot of great information, and it's all generated, right? To get you thinking,
Yeah.
right? Right. And apply it to your own life. So that's what we're doing. Our platform is coming, and right now we do a lot of content on just helping people and giving them different questions that they need to answer. And also with the advocacy, we have a lot of advocacy podcasts where, where women have, like with my lawsuits, we ended up changing a law in the city of Los Angeles regarding road repair. So not only did it help me, it helped thousands of other residents in the city of Los Angeles about how the city they had some out of service roads that were never counted in the maintenance rolls, and now they do not. Now all the roads in the city of Los Angeles are on the maintenance rolls. So if you live on a street in Los Angeles, it needs to be it is now maintained.
Wow.
So that's, yeah. So, and we have other people that have like taken on the FAA on noise issues. And so you can do it. We use those as inspiration. If you've got a problem, where to start. A lot of people just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And usually until you get yourself in a jam, you don't know where to start. And then you figure it out.
Exactly. Where can people find more information about you and your community?
Great. Go to our website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is our sweet spot. We're going to be on TikTok. I've been slow on that. That's my fault. I've been slow on that. Then who knows? Maybe it'll go away.
What
I
are
don't know.
you under on Instagram? Are you under Single Lady Estates?
Yes, it's also at SingleLadyEstates, #SingleLadyEstates. We're also on LinkedIn. Instagram is our most popular channel.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. And then website is SingleLadiesEstates.com. It
Yeah.
is a clickable link. So for those of you that are watching live or on the replay, make sure you check the description below so that you can. I'm assuming your sign up sheet is that on your website?
Yes, it
Okay.
pops right up, and then we give updates. We use that for our newsletter. We give updates on the status of our platform and it's coming. And we also have a contact form. If people want to contact us for anything, just please fill out the form. We actually respond. So it's hard to keep up, but we do respond.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. So predominantly on Instagram, website is SingleLadyEstates.com. Make sure you sign up for her list. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up here? This has been great.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I really enjoy these. It's nice to be on the other end of these. You know what? Here, the biggest tip that I can give anyone is really be confident in yourself. If you want to go get a home and you can do it, right? you might get a no from a financial person first, then go to another one.
Wow.
Be persistent. Persistence wins. So be persistent, trust your gut. If something doesn't sound right, educate yourself. A little information can go a long way. Um, w- I don't know. Do we have time for an
Are you
example?
seeing that are you seeing that women or people are moving to a different state so that they can afford a home, like women, for instance?
Yeah, they have. Well, being in the land of California,
Yeah.
a lot of people have moved out, right, for a lot of different reasons, um, to states that didn't have state income taxes, lower homes. I mean, when you see what you could get in LA and what you can get in Tennessee, it's night and day.
Wow.
There's also studies. The city of LA released a survey, and more and more younger people that are here in LA are leaving because they want to go buy a home and they just can't do it here.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive. So that's a really critical population to lose. So there's got to be something that's going to be done about that. Um, but yeah, so people are moving for all different reasons with remote work uh, and hybrid work, depending on what your situation is. You don't have to live in the center of the city anymore, and it's really a lifestyle choice.
Yeah. Oh, very, very cool. Well, this has been fabulous. I so appreciate you coming on and sharing some nuggets of information with us, some inspiration for us ladies out
We're
there.
doing good. We're doing good. Listen, there's always better, but take some time out to celebrate yourself
Yeah.
because 50 years ago we couldn't get credit cards.
Yes.
And
What?
now we really drive, like, as far as the home buying market and the home selling, women are driving that.
Wow. Unbelievable. Good for us.
Yes.
Good for us. Well, I so appreciate you, Bobbie, coming on and sharing some awesomeness with us. To those of you watching the live that made it all the way to the end, we see you. Thank you so much for being here. Remember to follow, like, and share. Once again, I am your host. My name is Sabrina Victoria. I host here at Her Talk Show, and this show is run by an amazing community named Her Nation. And we are dedicated to having conversations just like this one with brilliant women who are sharing their knowledge, sharing things that they don't that they know that you might not know. So thank you so much for being here. We're always looking to uplift you every step of the way. Until next time.